Pauline, how did you start in this area of willow weaving?
It's kind of, I had it in my head for a long time. I remember when I was about 10 thinking I'm going to be doing basket making and I'm going to do leather work. Two things, had them in my head. Just had this thing, I don't know, a lot of people I think who make things have that. It's kind of like, I know I'm going to do such a thing, but everyone said you're nuts.
Wow.
And not my family now, but everyone I said, oh, I'd love to do this, they always said, oh, you're living in the past. You're all doing things in the past, they're all dead and gone. So kind of, and you know when you're like a teenager and like you kind of, you don't like to be different. And I'm quite an eccentric family anyway, so I was already different and I was irritated by that. So I kind of just tried to be, you know, just do all the normal thing, and then I couldn't find anything I actually liked. That was the problem. I couldn't say, oh, I'm going to go, everyone was saying, oh, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be this, that and the other, and I couldn't kind of, what would you say, I didn't feel right. I felt like a fraud. And then the Leaving Cert came and I was like, the teacher said, oh, put down law, because I think he picked my worst point. It was like manipulative teenager, like, which wasn't a good thing. So he picked that as, and because you're kind of a word watcher and like a detailed person, and I put down law, I remember, and language, and I got it, and I was like, I don't want it.
Wow.
I couldn't do it. I still couldn't do it. So I still couldn't get away from the things in my head.
Yeah.
So then I went and did all kinds of things that I liked for a while. I did, I went to work, I loved horses, so I went to work on horses and riding at race horses, all like crazy stuff. Like you'd have to get killed, and then I got headbutted by a horse, so I had to stop with that. And then, so I went into market gardening, because I kind of was interested in health. And then I got sick. And this is like, what's this like, what year is it now? This is like 10 years ago, I got sick. All of a sudden, I know I've never been sick in my life. And I had to drop everything, absolutely everything.
Floored you.
Just destroyed I just was like, drop everything. But for the first time ever, I had an opportunity then to do something different, and it was the basket making. I had tried to do it loads of times. I tried to arrange a basket making class for years. They never worked, it never went anywhere, or it never worked out, or the thing was cancelled, or what went wrong. And then suddenly I got sick and basket making just opened up for me. And I went down to Joe, and it was kind of like, I had a basket in my head for so long, for like, what, 25 years before that. And I made a basket, and Joe was like, you did this before? I was like, no, I didn't. And he's like, you know, and the people around me were getting annoyed, because I had such a basket in my head for such a long time that it just turned into a basket. And I just thought, yeah, no, I knew I could do this, and it just fit from the start, like.
Magic.
So that was it.
Magic.
Yeah.
And so Joe Hogan was obviously your kind of, he's the catalyst.
And I kind of like his style, because he went to an awful lot of trouble, like, to pick up all the little details from like loads of different basket makers. He was the same as me. I tried to get him to do let me do an apprenticeship with him. He said no. Whereas he had been in the same boat. He was going around at the same, when he started in 1970. He started when I was born in 1978, and he was going around then trying to get other people to take him on. They wouldn't take him on either. So he said, no, I know he can do it because I did it. So he really pushed, and then I just started just making things. Amazing. And then I was already into growing stuff, so I just grew the willow. Then that was easy enough.
Yeah.
And it's easy too, because you just stick the willow in the ground
and off it goes.
Yeah. So that's what it is. I had to actually get sick, and I had a market garden business at the time, and it was really the thing. And it kind of was. I was 10 years working on that, and it was really, really busy. It was getting busier, and then it was like.
No, it's a wake-up call. It was like you had to get back to what you wanted to do actually when you were 10.
Yeah, but it worked out well, and it's kind of like this young guy showed up. I had this thing as kind of like, give away your business and your life's going to change now, and it's like quite terrifying to totally and utterly change your life and jump into something like as vague as like an arty kind of a thing where you don't know if you're going to make a living at all. Like, so you know, but I was already a little bit like that by doing market garden was unusual anyway. So I gave that to a young guy, and then gradually. He moved in and I moved out of that business, so. And he really needed it too. It fit him really well too, so it was great. Like it's a
great fit, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, it's like something that just worked.
It's meant to be. Yeah. And it is a very generous thing for you to do.
Well, I don't know if I can say that, because it felt so right that it was like I never thought of it. It wasn't like I thought of it. It was like a plan. Like, it was very strange. Yeah, and I'd never been sick in my life. Never. Like, my sister has like serious kind of illness, autoimmune stuff. but she always had that. I never had anything wrong with me.
Wow.
Ever. I was never sick. I never felt slightly vulnerable in my whole life. I had to get to that point before I could actually do the things I wanted to do. So it's great.
Amazing.
It
Amazing.
is, yeah, no, it
And
is.
then obviously your work is so beautiful. It's exquisitely beautiful. And you know, working with us at Stable, it's such a treat to work with you, because we appreciate so much the quality and the time and the attention and that level of knowledge that you bring to it. And so each of the pieces that you do with us for us are a joy.
Okay.
Because they smell beautiful and they
look
are
amazing.
lovely to have on the shelf. But tell us about the process of just making, for example, our basket. You know, so start to finish. You know, how do you, so obviously your willow and sourcing and then
The
drying
willow is grown here. So there's a place out at the canal, about 10 miles away. I grow a lot there, and then there's a few patches here, just different colours, different varieties. You'd have to then harvest it in like early winter, between I suppose November and March sometime, and then it has to be dried out, and then when it's dry it's put away and you can use it then as you need it. So that's the process with to get the willow to that stage, and then as and when you need it you have to soak it for about a week beforehand, and then I steam it to get that kind of nice colour, the darker colour. Make a nice oval base, and then the kind of the I suppose the most awkward bit is kind of, there's a certain thing in people's heads, I think it must be maths, that there's a proportion, like this basket for instance, that doesn't, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. And it isn't it isn't right. It'll have to come down another couple of inches and then it'll look right. And I make baskets, and say a log basket, and there's a certain one I go, oh that's the right proportions, and everyone will go, give me that one, can I have one of that one, that one, that one, and then the other one they just want to ignore it. So there's a certain proportion, that was the hard thing to get in the basket.
Right.
It's like a proportion that actually pleases your eye.
Yes.
For some reason.
And you have that instinctively. You know, that's.
Well,
that
I think
sense
I think everyone does.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think everyone does when they're not. There's a sign. There's a kind of a. I think it's, there's nothing wrong with saying that, like, some people are really beautiful, and they've perfect symmetrical things, and everyone goes, oh look at that. It appeals to you, and there's a symmetry and a certain kind of proportion that pleases your eye naturally. Yeah. It's just something to do with just natural beauty. So that's the hard bit to get.
Yes.
So then there's the leather handles are the last bit. That's just sadly willow. It's nice to put the two things together when you're interested in both things.
Beautiful. And then they're finished with the linen thread.
Linen thread. I just like to keep all the things like they would have been 100 years ago. Or something that you endlessly went all down through time. I kind of like that. I kind of like old things as well, because like if you've tables and things that already lasted 100 years, I mean it's going to last another 100, and somebody must have somebody enjoyed making it. So I want to, like, someone's going to enjoy making that really good leather. They go, oh yeah, that's done. There's a whole process in the leather making before I got near it. Yeah. So it's nice to think that you're just adding another little bit or making it fit and look nice.
Yeah. I know that sense of a real kind of personal energy has gone into all the pieces, whether it's the linen threads or the
everything.
brass and the leather tanning. And then, so in terms of the linen thread, because that's kind of interesting, you were saying earlier about.
A lot of it used to be made in Northern Ireland, and just suppose there are still. I think you get there's a lot of it's woven here still, but the thread's not made here. But I did go through. To be honest, what I normally do, it didn't quite work out for me. I'd grow the flax, and I'd be going, oh, I'll make my own thread and all. But I just haven't the energy anymore. I just haven't got that. I used to have ridiculous energy, and I go and go and go and go, and I can't do it now. Yeah. So I am limited. Yes. In that. So you kind of now have to kind of encourage other people to do that. Yeah. So it's interesting, and I do think that there's. I suppose the big thing for me is that I think there's something gone wrong. There's so many young people coming out of school now and going to university who shouldn't be. They just shouldn't be. Like, I have a sister, she's an academic, but she's a born academic, and that's probably only 5% of the population who should be doing that kind of thing. and then there's so many other people who should be making things because they're going to die a little bit inside. Do you know what I mean? Like, I tried to fit into the other world for a long time. I couldn't fit, and that's where you end up, like, you know, you have to drink to just like, I hate this. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of that kind of substance abuse and that, for young people especially.
Yeah.
It's trying to fit themselves into the wrong shaped space. Like,
Yeah, it's a really important thing, and we couldn't agree more with you in terms of that, because the sense of being able to work with your hands and the satisfaction that it brings, it's something much deeper.
It is,
And,
than just money.
Than just money, or just even, you know, as you said, when you were, you know, trying to be like other people that you were not.
Yeah.
And then people do get lost in doing that, and so a lot of
Yeah.
kids these days do. And I totally agree with you. There's a whole rake of people who should be out learning skills and trades and craft and art and being creative at the base of it, for sure.
Like that, like I do. I have a couple of nieces in particular. Like, I said, oh, I come over and make baskets. They can make baskets straight away. It's just like, some people just have a certain thing in them. Like, you know.
Totally.
And don't make yourself go off and do something. I regretted for about 15 years. I was like, oh, everyone went to university and I never even knew I'd even started, I threw it away. And then other people say, oh, I didn't get that, and I said, well, I didn't, I threw it away. Do you know, it's just, for so long I regretted it, and I was like, oh, I must be lazy, I must be something. No, because I ended up doing the thing I had in my head when I was 10 years old, in the end, after a process of letting go of trying to be like everyone else. Do you know? So, you know, that's, and now we kind of see it as a bigger thing, because there's so many skills that are dying. You know, and in Ireland it isn't great for, what would you say, I don't know, the British have this really like pride of place and pride of skill and all this thing. They have all these schemes and for helping people, and there's nothing here for that kind of thing. There's nothing, like, it's all just dying out. And if you ask, like Joe Hogan, he told me he asked loads of basket makers where it was going. Nowhere, finished, cardboard boxes, that's where it's going. You know, they weren't going to fight it, they just gave up. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I don't think that's the way anything I ever started, the vegetable business even, I was like, you know, people need healthy things to eat. I'm just going to grow them and I'm just going to turn up. And then people showed up and bought them. It's a bit the same with this. You have to do the thing first, and then people buy it. Like, whereas my problem is actually making it. It's actually like making enough things.
I know.
Do you know?
You're only one person.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, and I kind of, you know, like you say, I was going to do the linen thread, make that thread too, and you know, it's just like, let go. You know, let someone else do that. But it's when no one is doing it, it's very hard not to kind of.
And then there's such passion there as well.
TY, you know, transition year. That all kids should go out. That's what they should do, is work with their hands and learn skills, and you know, definitely, because I think that would be the joy. You know, to be able to come out of transition year having made something like that.
Well, wouldn't it? Yeah, and I'm not very I'm not very conventional. I'm not very, I wouldn't say I'm like great socially, that kind of thing. If anything, I'm one of those kids who was in school, who was kind of like a bit wired, and now he'd be like medicated or some kind of thing. Whereas I was just, my family didn't mind, and just turned it into all kinds of stuff, like full of energy, like, and too much, well able to do academic stuff, but it isn't what floats my boat, like, so you just couldn't, it didn't make you happy as well, you know. Whereas, like, I don't know, there's like, you need someone in school too, and transition would be ideal, like you say, where someone could go and actually try something. They go, opens up a different world.
At that particular age as well. So that really interesting time when you really are struggling to work out what you do. So to throw your energy into something creative and making would be
just even in the experience, you know.
No, it's very special.
But I'm not very sociable, so I'd never put myself forward and say, oh, I'll organise a whatever. Actually, the lady that owns the farm here, she was a teacher. She's retired a few years now, but she's would like, I'd say, something like that, kind of like crafty, kind of you know, people learning scales or that kind of thing here. So I wouldn't be surprised if she goes down that road.
But it's no, it's a big thing. But I think having kids who are now in their early 20s and whatever, and all of our kids, Sonny's and my kids, have, you know, interestingly, they're kind of in a way rejecting a lot of, you know, the bigger motivations like money. To a certain degree, obviously climate and earth and you know the crisis that we're in has put responsibilities on their shoulders. But what does float their boat is the getting back to the basics, you know, getting
Yeah.
back to the ground, getting back to the, you know, just the sensory, you know,
Yeah.
actually being present
Yeah.
in what they're doing and stuff. So I think that hopefully, I think people will change. You know,
Yeah.
I do think so.
Well,
But they need
if
to have
if
the
I'm anything to
opportunities.
go by though, sometimes you have to hit the wall before you change. It's like I had to
Yeah.
actually be on the ground and then go, oh, I'll do the basket making that I always wanted to do.
I know,
Yeah.
I
Funny,
know,
like,
I know, it's so true.
we're so thick.
Yeah, we are so thick. But I think you really hit the nail on the head there in terms of, you know, as a kind of a country and as a government and as a
Yeah.
sort of industry, we should really make much more effort in terms of keeping these skills alive. You know,
Yeah.
you know that these.
I know it's hard, like, and it's, look, there's a reason why there's like the conqueror and the conquered. There's a certain mentality, obviously, in Irish people to be liked or to please or something. There's something there which meant that other people always came here and told us what to do. Do you know what I mean? I don't have this thing as like the English were here. No, what did we do? We like let them. Do you know what I mean? Whoever it was, it wouldn't matter who it was, because we're still the same now.
Yeah.
Still like, oh, someone else will do that and they'll do it better or something.
Yeah.
What? You know, just
Yeah,
get
totally.
over it, throw it away, and just
Have the
Get on with
confidence.
it.
start again.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, confidence. But you're right about the UK, and I think the difference between Ireland and the UK is population size. For
Yeah, one thing.
And I think it's huge, and so there are more people
Mm.
who can get together to make change. You know,
Yeah.
whereas here it's really down to individuals. A lot of the cases, like Joe was probably the first person in a
Oh,
long
yeah.
time to highlight this
Yeah.
extraordinary Irish skill we have,
Yeah.
and then the generosity of opening that up and training people.
Well, he
people
has
like
been.
you.
I mean, Joe is really generous. Like, I know other people. I tried to learn when you're trying to learn saddlery. Oh my goodness, you think you were like trying to steal their child. No. and in Ireland, I couldn't even get anyone to teach me. I had to go to England
Wow.
to learn leatherwork as well,
Wow.
because everyone here was afraid that you're kind of like going to take their pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so.
Yeah.
That
It's a
is very
small
sad,
mindedness
isn't it?
as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Small
and it's a
time
shame.
Where does that
mentality.
fear come from? I wonder. It's a really interesting
Well, it's
thing. Isn't it?
protection, isn't it?
It's protection, but then what's lovely, what we're seeing here, and in fact it's happening quite a bit, and possibly because it's men a large degree, but the knife making
Yeah.
scene is huge now in
Mhm.
Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, hand making knives
Yeah.
is amazing,
Yeah.
and that's wonderful. So, and you know, I think it's probably very often what tends to happen is things that go off the island.
Yeah.
You know, so I remember the first knife maker that was really featured was a guy called Rory O'Connor in Cork, and he got a feature in
well,
Homes and Interiors.
It was
Okay.
World of
World
Interiors.
of Interiors
Yeah.
in the UK.
About 15 years ago.
And
Yeah.
that suddenly put a
Set him off.
spotlight on him, but then it totally encouraged other people to become knife
Yeah.
makers because they thought,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you know, this is.
Well,
You know.
that is another thing. Like, when I say like that, you know, Joe was really, really generous. The biggest thing he was generous is like, you know, putting himself forward, even if he mightn't have wanted to actually
Yes.
teach people.
Yes.
Whereas like, that's the thing I'd find hardest is like, someone has to make the effort to teach. Yeah,
Yeah.
to teach as well and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas even when you don't really want to,
Yeah.
Mm.
it mightn't be the thing you really wanted to do. Like, you might as well just, like me, hide out somewhere and just make things.
But that's okay too.
Yeah,
You
that's-
can't be
Ah,
everything.
that's different.
Yeah, that, like, yeah,
You
some people
can't
are
be all
better at
things.
teaching, there's no question
Yeah.
about it, but
Yeah.
you kind of have to push yourself out of your comfort zone as well, though.
True. But
Like,
then,
I'm more like a peasant. I'm more like no, I am a peasant. I have no problem with being a peasant. I quite like that. I love the French for that. The French again love their skills. They're so proud of
Oh,
our butter making or this or
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
We make all that too. We just don't make such a fuss.
yeah,
you know,
it's true.
But they go to the nth degree with everything they make, like, and it has continued for that reason. The French buy like basket making, and there's a university standard like course for basket making in France, and it's made it was these people in this village in caves because the climate it's suited on that
Perfect
climate
for the
for making
willow,
them,
yeah.
to keep it nice and mellow. But it's like they're still doing that, and they're still in the same town. And
Lovely, isn't it?
they all the bakers in the country support the basket makers. It's so
Yeah.
strange, like.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, there's a great
Yeah.
national pride in it, and I think
Yeah.
you're right about this sense of confidence and
Yeah.
to stand up and be proud of it.
Yeah,
and,
just stand up now. Do like
yeah,
just start now. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what happened to you in the past.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter at
You know,
all.
throw it
Yeah.
away. Like,
Yeah, true.
I'm sick of that stuff. You know, people going on about, oh, these people did that to me, and was it like the English first, and then it was the Catholic Church, and now it's like, who is it? When is it going to be
You just
me?
got to get on with
Yeah.
it.
You know, when
Yeah.
it's going to be my fault that something didn't happen.
Yeah,
And instead of blaming everybody else, like
Yeah.
you did, it's terrible when things happen to people, but you have to move on.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
you know,
right,
and
yeah.
we need to move on,
We need to move on.
you know,
Yeah.
nationally, and stop saying, oh, we couldn't compete on that because we're a small population. No, there has to be something we can do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Completely.
we're very well suited actually when you talk of linen, like we're perfectly suited climate for that. Even look outside, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like perfect for that.
It is.
And
It's,
why are we not doing it?
well, we are. What's interesting again, I mean, it's small, very, very small
Yeah.
scale, but you do have some smaller producers now growing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
There's a
Okay.
couple. There's a few. There's certainly some up north.
Yeah.
Just small farms, small holdings, just doing field flax here,
Okay.
harvesting, spinning,
Okay, very nice.
thrashing, all that, scotching,
Mm.
and the whole work. So it is happening.
Mm.
But I think in terms of the bigger scale of things, will it ever get back to the sort of Belgian model, which you know is much more.
Mm.
So this Flanders is huge. It's all
Mm.
flax, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if now I have to say if dairy farming and livestock
Go
comes
down.
under the more pressure,
Mm.
then perhaps flax, because everybody wants natural materials now.
Yeah.
I mean, when Sonia and I were obviously started, you know,
Yeah.
we only work with Irish linen and
Mm.
wool and natural Irish sort of textiles and
Mm.
you know materials. But you know, there was nobody growing, and now
Yeah.
5 years later, there are people.
There are people
growing,
But
which is
growing.
that's
exciting.
another side of it too, though, is that unless somebody is willing to like risk it and try and sell it,
Yeah.
even though it's more expensive,
Yeah.
like you've done,
Yeah.
there's nowhere for anyone. You can make it all you like, then there's nowhere to sell it.
Yeah.
So you know
Yeah.
you need the whole.
You do.
Lots of
It's
lots of
a
people
cycle.
to-
It's
yeah.
it's a community.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like I mean you've done that as well, but
Yeah.
so.
It's,
Yeah,
very-
look, I don't know, I have a positive view of that kind of thing anyway, and like I say, I'm only happy to be able to make things and do things, but something that you like.
Well, you do it beautifully.
You do it very beautifully. Yay.
Thank you.